everyone, this is Michael Newman. I'm just standing outside of the rail yard in Vaughan, or we're not standing out there, we're walking towards it, and we're trying to get there to take a look at the infamous bushes that apparently surrounding the entrance to the yard. So that's what we're going to go and investigate, because according to your union, TC Local 1976, there are bushes that are right outside the entrance of the Vaughan Yard entrance. This is off Rutherford Road, because there's two entrances, by the way, to the Vaughan Yard. One on Rutherford Road and another one on Major Mackenzie. I haven't stood outside the Major Mackenzie Yard entrance, Major Mackenzie Road entrance to the yard as of yet. But I've only stood outside the entrance that is on Rutherford Road in Vaughan, Ontario. So this is the only one I've been at. And I stood on the sidewalk, which is public property. It's actually like a little triangle of cement, but it's definitely part of the intersection, which belongs to the city. Does not belong to the company, so it's definitely not company property. And the union has stated that members have reported that the guy standing outside Vaughan Yard, yeah, they don't use my name, even though everybody knows it's me, Michael Newman. They said he's startled the members. He was hiding in the bushes, and he came out of the bushes and startled them. So we're now going to look for these infamous bushes at the entrance, because there are none. Trust me. But we're going to show you, so you just know there's no bushes that anybody could hide in and run out of. So hold on, let me flip this around just a minute. This is the entrance to the Vaughan Yard off of Rutherford Road. There's the nice sign that they have with the flags of Canada and the United States. There's Rutherford Road going all the way, that's eastbound, and to the 427. And there's the entrance right there. And you can see that the back of a stop sign there. That's the truck entrance where they come in and they come out. That's where I'm standing. I'm going to show and demonstrate to you. It's right there by that sign. And now we're going to go this way. Now there's over here, and this is the, now there's some marsh, marsh reeds or something in the front there. And oh, look, there is this sort of big tree. So I guess that could be considered the infamous bush. The problem is that it's probably on company property. Hard to say, because the city usually has a good 10 to 12 feet inside where they can dig, so it's considered city property. But that's probably on CP Rail property. So I don't go on CP Rail property because I have no interest in going there. So this could be the bush that they're claiming. But again, the problem is like, number one, why would anybody hide there when you want to meet people and talk to them? And number two, you wouldn't have time, because as soon as the guys drive up, they're going to stop, look to their left, and then go. And because all the trucks, they have to turn right. Your trucks aren't allowed to turn left. So they come out, they turn right. So they're looking to their left, If it's all clear, they're gone. So, and so are the employees. So why would anybody hide in a bush and then try to run out to supposedly surprise? This is the claim. But they've claimed that members involved. They don't give the name of the member. They don't give the incident. They don't give the date or the time that this alleged incident happened. They just make the wild claim. Now again, keep in mind, this is your union, right? This is the union that defends you with grievances. So in order to file a grievance, you have to give out accurate information, right? See, there's this alleged bush, I guess. But this is the sign where I am, and that's the entrance. That's the sign. My video shows me standing by this sign. Actually, my video documents me standing outside trying to talk to people and give them my information. I'm giving everybody my phone number, my email address, and inviting you to call me up. We can sit down for coffee, and I will tell you all about unions and how they work and how you, the members, can literally run your own union better than any other union out there and be just as effective, more effective than your own union. And you don't have to spend that much money, and you have 100% control over your collective agreement and its enforcement, which makes a whole lot more sense than giving it over to people who are nowhere near your work site, know nothing about your work site, and do not make their money from the employer like you do. They make their money off of you, the worker. They make their money off the backs of their brothers and sisters. That's what they make, and they make a lot of money. The president and the vice president of your union and all these unions makes a lot of money compared to the members. And all that money comes from you, the members. And yet, you have no oversight. You have no control. You're essentially the boss, and yet you can't fire the president and the vice president for doing a bad job. Now you can see, here's the truck. He's driving up. This is the driver's side right there next to the sign. That's where I'm standing. So I could easily just walk over and give the driver my card and my information. Again, yeah, maybe that's the infamous bush. Again, why would anybody stand there and in the bush and then run out? So they're claiming that that's what I would do. Except the problem is that I would never do that. And my videos prove that I never did that, because I videotaped myself. And I videotaped myself standing by the sign over there, showing and demonstrating to everybody what I was actually doing, so that people would know what I'm doing. And again, the union provides nothing. So if this is a grievance, right? This is your union fighting your grievance. They have no date of incident. They have no time of incident. They have no specific location of incident. They have no witnesses to the incident. They're just making an outlandish claim. That's what your president, Nancy LaPointe, your vice president, Manny D'Souza, and your chief steward, who's in charge of your grievances, Jeffrey Howell, that's their presentation. That's their evidence that they've given. And again, there was no photographs, there was no documentation, there was no statements given by any particular person, just this amazing claim, outlandish claim, ludicrous claim, that I never did something that I did, which So what we're doing is we're going to videotape me and where I stood. And you can see in the video the infamous bush. And I'm going to try to measure out how tall it is. That everybody will look at. So I am now in studio, making a voiceover, because after I crossed the road to take a closer look and measure out the distance of the infamous bush, my earbuds were out of range of the phone I set up on the opposite side of Rutherford Road, so nothing I was saying recorded. I thought it would reach and you could hear me. But you don't know if something will work or not until you try. I tried. It didn't work. So now I know when making videos like this in the future, I need a second phone to record my voice while recording video from a distance. But what I was doing and describing was quite simple. I was measuring out the distance from the infamous bush to the road and stop sign to prove that the false accusation made against me by President Nancy LaPointe, Vice President, Financial Secretary Treasurer Manny D'Souza, and CPKC Rail Chief Steward Jeffrey Howell is absolutely false and ludicrous. No one who actually goes to look at the scene could ever think that the quote, members have even reported being startled by this person suddenly popping out of the bushes, could actually ever happen the way it was described. I was there to prove that fact and record it for you to see it all on video. The infamous bush, which is really a tree, is a good 50 to 60 feet from the driver's side of the truck, which is the opposite of the bush, which makes it practically impossible to pop out and startle people. Here's why. Number one, the infamous bush to hide behind is surrounded by a pool of swamp water. You would have to wear knee-high rubber boots to wade through the water to run out and startle anyone. So you can't suddenly pop out of bushes when you are treading through 2 feet of marsh water. Number two, to come out of hiding from behind the bush and run up to the truck will take at least 30 seconds or more because of the distance and the swamp water. There's no popping out there. Number three, when I was there, it was dark. You could barely see where you were stepping, so you would have to have a flashlight, which means people would have noticed it. That was never described in the description of Nancy, Manny, or Jeffrey. Number four, the drivers are on the opposite side of the vehicle. You would have to tread through the water, then run around to the opposite side to talk to them. Most drivers would drive away before you could even reach them from the infamous bush. The witness statement written by Nancy LaPointe, Manny D'Souza, and Jeffrey Howell gave no detail to how it all allegedly happened. That's because it never did. If Nancy, Manny, and Jeffrey wanted to be convincing, they should have at least given a description that was plausible. They should have described an action that could have happened. What they described is impossible. It could never have happened. Suddenly popping out of the bushes is completely inaccurate to the scene. There are no bushes. There is one big bush, which is actually a tree, 50 meters away, surrounded by swamp water. It is impossible for anyone to pop out of that. A more plausible description would have been that some crazy guy in giant boots and a reflective safety vest waded through the swamp water to run up to the vehicle on the passenger side, then knocked on the window, startling them.
That would have been a plausible description. It is the only plausible description that fits that scene. But they did not write that. They failed to describe that. Instead, they said, I suddenly popped out from behind bushes, startling more than one member. And according to their description, it was done many times. But it is physically impossible for it to even happen once. Our video of the actual scene on Rutherford Road proves that. So by giving false witness with a false description of something that could not possibly ever happen, Nancy, Manny, and Jeffrey have proven their own signed statement completely erroneous. Their description has been proven absolutely ridiculous. Their false accusation is absolute nonsense. Everything I have just presented crushes their pathetic, lame complaint and so-called warning to the members. All they want is for you to stay away from me so you can't get good, accurate, credible, honest information about how the union system works and how you can make it work for you. So Nancy, Manny, and Jeffrey put their names to this false accusation and sent it out to the entire CPKC Rail bargaining unit in a lame, ineffective attempt to discredit me and what I have to say to you, my union brothers and sisters. My evidence that I have just presented to you shows their false accusation to be completely made up. It is a fabrication of their imagination. There is no witness statement. The only statement given by the union is from Nancy Lapointe, Manny D'Souza, and Jeffrey Howell. They provide no evidence in any form of documentation. No witness statement of someone who was actually there. No photographs, no video, no recordings, no nothing. Complete air. None of them are even in the province of Ontario. Nancy and Manny are in Montreal, Quebec. That is about 579 kilometers and a 6-hour drive from the yard in Vaughan. Jeffrey Howell is in Winnipeg, Manitoba. That is 1,936 kilometers from the scene of the crime and a 21-hour drive. None of them were anywhere near Rutherford Road. None of them investigated the scene because there was nothing to investigate. Nothing like they described ever happened. My evidence proves that. They do not provide the name of any witness supposedly at the scene. And Nancy, Manny, and Jeffrey describe something that physically cannot be done. So by logical reasoning, they have simply made it up. That's what the evidence shows. The only witness that was actually there to see what happened on Rutherford Road is me. Without another person to come forward and challenge what me and my videos show to have happened, there is no one left to believe but me.
Hello everyone, it's Michael Newman again. I'm going to the Vaughan Yard again. Today it's Sunday, September the 7th, and we're going to try to finish the investigation of the statement of Nancy, Manny, and Jeffrey. They made a statement about me, claiming that I did something which I did not do. And I'm going to show everyone through evidence that the physical layout of the Vaughan Yard entrance off Rutherford Road makes it impossible for their statement to be plausible. It's just that simple. This statement is a complete fabrication. They made it up. And then they were going to blame it on the members at the Vaughan Yard. They were going to claim, or they are going to claim, that, oh, it's not their fault. Anonymous members contacted them and they gave the statement. But that's not true. As a president and a vice president and chief steward of your local union, they are obligated to investigate a statement. At least a minor investigation, a minor inquiry to see if it's actually a valid statement. And for them, that would not be hard. All they would have to do is call the unit president, Leighton Costanzo, who's the president of Unit 951, which is the unit at the Vaughan Yard, and they would ask him, is this a plausible statement? That members claim that Michael Newman popped out from bushes, was hiding behind bushes and popped out, startling them. And Leighton would tell them no. That statement is impossible. No member in the Vaughan Yard would ever make such a statement. Number one, because there's no bushes. There's no bushes at the front of the yard. There's only possibly one big bush, which is actually a tree. But that means you would call it a bush, not bushes. It wouldn't be plural. Number two, it's impossible to pop out and be seen, because it's 50 feet, I should say, 50 feet from the road. So if somebody was hiding behind that tree and then popped out from behind the tree, no one would notice them, especially in the dark. And the other thing is, nobody can walk over there. As I'm going to show you, you need big fat rubber boots. It's swamp water. They got swamp water surrounding this so-called bush. So in order to go into that area, you would have to wear rubber boots. And then to get the attention of anybody, you would have to run through the swamp water, run up the side of the hill onto the road to the other side where the cars are. It's not a plausible, it's not a possibility. It's the statement that they gave is not a possibility, which means it's a fabrication. Let's go and you'll see for yourself. Okay, so this is the area by the front of the Vaughan Yard. So you can see over there, there's Rutherford Road. All those cars are going westbound from the 427. And that right in front of you, right there, is where I'm standing. As you can see, it's a triangle of cement. It's in the intersection. There's the stop block. So anything on the other side of the stop block is the intersection, which is city property. That's the stop sign. That's where I'm standing the entire time. All my videos prove it. I have video evidence of me standing there. Plus, I have eyewitnesses from the Vaughan Yard whom I gave my information to, who I gave my cards to. They saw me there. That's how they got the cards. So this is the area over here. You can see it's all marshes, marsh reeds. It's a heavy marsh area that's full of water, swamp water. But there's no bushes. There's reeds, but there's no bush. And as you can see here, this is all marshy swamp, muddy water. That's all sitting here in front. Between the road, there's the marsh, and then here's the grass. So they've cut the grass. And then this is the infamous bush, I guess. Again, it's really a tree. It's a cedar tree. It's not really a bush, but I guess they could call it that. So of the statement, remember the statement said bushes. Well, there's no bushes. Take a look around. There's no bushes. There's only one big bush So if anybody's making a statement, they're going to say, yeah, the person hid behind one big bush or one tree. So that part of the statement's wrong. But let's just leave it at that. But then you'd have to hide behind this tree. You have to pop out. Popping out is an action which you do very quickly. You would just pop out. Well, you're over here popping out behind the tree or the bush, and look how far the road is. The road is way over here. Nobody who's driving around here, see, look, this is where I'm standing over here. Nobody who's driving around here is going to notice anybody popping out from behind that bush. So why would anybody be startled? They're not even going to see you because it's so far away. So the only plausibility to startle somebody would to run out from behind the bush, run over the grass, and then run into this marshy water area, which is all wet and muddy. So you have to wear boots, and you're running in big boots, and you run up to the road here, and then you got to run to either to knock on the window and startle the person. That is the only plausibility. But again, if that was what happened, which didn't happen, that's what the statement would say, right? You have to make a statement that fits the scene, fits the action of what happened or what could happen. And as you can see, there's no other bushes. So a statement that would have been plausible, a possibility would be there's one big bush, one big tree, and the guy hid behind there. He came running out in boots because he had to run through the marsh. Then he ran up the hill onto the road and he startled me by banging on my window. That would have been a plausible description. But that's not what they gave. That's not the statement. The statement is they act like there's a bunch of little bushes and Michael Newman pops out from behind the bushes going boo, startling everyone. Well, there's nothing here. There's nothing here like that. And if Manny or Nancy had bothered to call Leighton here in Vaughan, he would have confirmed that. He would have said, that's impossible. No member here is ever going to make such a statement. And again, remember, they said two members, plural. They said more than one member. So two members made the same false, impossible statement. No, it doesn't work like that. This is a complete fabrication. Okay, so I'm here again at the Vaughan Yard. As you can see over here, this is where the cement triangle is. That's where I'm standing. And as you can see, I'm wearing boots. These are the kind of boots that a person would have to wear in order to stand over here by this bush and run out, because you can't wear shoes. It's complete mud and water. It's a swampy water, wet mess. It'd be impossible to run out of there. So in order for me to do what they said I would have to do, I would have been dressed like this, because I was wearing the safety vest, and I would have to be wearing boots like this in order to do what they said I did, which would have been part of the description, right? If you're going to make a statement, you would say, yeah, I saw this guy, and he had a safety vest on, and he had big fat boots on, and he ran out from behind a tree, and he ran through the swamp water up onto the road to startle me. That would have been a possible statement. If members made that statement, then you could say, okay, I mean, it's plausible, it fits the scene, it could have happened. Of course it didn't, because I'm the witness. I didn't do any such thing. I know I didn't. I stood on the other side by the cement and walked out 2 feet or 3 feet to hand my information out to everybody. And I have witnesses to that. I have, 5 or 6 guys who took my information. And they can confirm that that's what I was doing, which of course is the most reasonable thing. But that's not the purpose. The purpose of what Manny, Nancy, and Jeffrey did was to try to discredit me so that you won't listen to me. But hold on, take a look at this, see the scene for yourself, and understand that the statement they made, they're trying to blame it on you, the members at Vaughan. They're trying to say, oh, well, members, more than one member, so at least two members in Vaughan have made the same impossible statement. And it's not their fault, but it is their fault because it's a fabrication. That statement is a complete, utter fabrication. It is an impossibility. Nobody could, there's no bushes that one could pop out and startle anybody. There's one big bush, and if a person stood behind it and popped out, nobody's going to see them, and they're not going to be startled by it because they're 50 feet, 60 feet away. Take a look for yourself. So you can see there's the bush, and there's the area that they would have to go over onto the road. So it's at least 30 feet from behind the bush to run across the grass, run across the marshy area, which is why boots like this would be required. You couldn't possibly, you could do it once in shoes. And again, that would be part of the witness description if people witnessed such a thing, but nobody witnessed such a thing. And Nancy, Manny, and Jeffrey cannot blame it on the members of Vaughan, claiming that, oh, well, it's not their fault if people tell them lies and make up statements that are not true. It is their fault because they made up the statement. They are the ones who made the false claim. Nobody else did. And again, they could confirm this if they wanted to by calling the unit president, Leighton Costanzo. He would tell them, no, man, that statement would be false. There's no bushes. There's no way in the world you can pop up against the bush. There's no place. There's a big tree, and you're not going to startle anybody hopping out. You're just going to, no one's even going to see you. And that's the reality. You can see the physical reality here, okay? This is the physical reality. Look how far that bush is. And this is all the way to the road. Person would have to jump out from behind the bush and run all the way up onto the road to try to startle somebody. You're not going to startle anybody. They're going to drive away before you can even get onto the road. They're not even going to notice. I would demonstrate, but that's probably company property. So and I don't go on company property. That would be trespassing. So I don't do that. But I think from what you can see it all there, and you can see for yourself that the description that Manny and Nancy and Jeffrey signed their names to it. Remember, these are your officials, your officers of your union. They signed their name to this. They put their name on this as being a truthful statement, and it's not. And they are held to a standard. Every officer of every union is held to a standard by the labor law. That is good faith. They have to do everything in good faith, which means they have to be honest. They have to tell the truth. They have to make truthful statements. If they make a mistake, but they tried their best honestly, then that's fine. But that's not the case here, because they have to look and investigate every statement that's given to them. There's nobody gave them any statements. They did, obviously, they didn't give a name. They cannot, and they can't claim, oh, well, it's private. It's not private. If somebody makes a statement about somebody, an accusation, a very serious accusation, you have to be able to face your accuser. Even if it's not in public, I have to know, everybody has to know, well, who are these two people or more people who made these statements? We have to confront them and ask them, well, why did you make such a statement? The reality is nobody made those statements. Nobody in Vaughan made such a statement. I saw at least half a dozen guys. I gave them my information from over there, from from on the road, 2 feet away. That's where I gave it. Dressed in a safety gun. There's no way anybody would make such an outlandish, outrageous, ludicrous statement except Nancy, Manny, and Jeffrey. And why would they? I have no idea. Oh, I know, to discredit me, but it's a stupid statement that's not even a possibility. Why would anybody make such a statement? You see, there's a car there. You can see where they are. That's where I'm standing, right there. That's where I could give people my information. It's 2 feet away. And I have witnesses to it, and I have my own video showing me doing it. So, yeah, this is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And these people represent the USW. They represent the steel workers. They're not just a local unto themselves. They represent all steel workers, the United Steelworkers across Canada, across the United States. Look what they did. They put a false statement on USW letterhead. Under the flag of the USW, they made false accusations. A ludicrous statement that is impossible to ever happen. I don't know how the USW allows them to remain in those positions. They represent not just you, the members, they represent all of the USW. I mean, the National Canadian Director, Marty Warren, should investigate this. How can he allow them to remain in those positions without fixing it? You can't make a false statement against people. They're not just making a false statement against me. They're making a false statement against every member, 160 members who work in the Vaughan Yard, claiming that these members made up this ludicrous false statement, which obviously they could never do. They're trying to blame it on the worker, blame it on the members. That's how bad this is. They're not just attacking me, they're attacking the members of Vaughan. I mean, they need to apologize. They need to admit what they did. President Nancy LaCoin and Vice President, Financial Secretary, Treasurer Manny D'Souza and Chief Steward Jeffrey Howell have to take some responsibility for what they've done. They've made a false statement and sent it out to 600 members, trying to slander me, trying to discredit me, but in the process, they're slandering the members, blaming it on the members, saying, oh, the members made the statement. But they didn't. They could never make such a statement. This is not a minor thing. This is a major thing. These are your representatives. They are the same people, right? These are the same people who go into bargaining for you. They're the same people who fight your grievances. How can you trust anything they say when they're willing to put in print false statements to get their point? How can you trust anything they say? How can anybody trust anything they say, right? That's what this whole system is built on. It's based on trust. You have to trust people. How do you trust people? They have to tell you the truth. Even when it doesn't fit, even when it maybe goes against yourself, you still have to tell the truth. You have to admit mistakes. But they published a lie, and then they emailed it out to 600 members, trying to discredit me. I mean, we know why they're trying to discredit me, right? Because they're afraid. Manny and Nancy are shaking in their boots because they are afraid that you will decertify them. You will revoke your permission for them to be your legal representative. And when you do that, you take away the money. You take away a lot of money. CPKC Rail probably pays out $700,000, $750,000, maybe even $1 million a year in union dues every year to this local. You guys leave, and Nancy and Manny are out of a job, basically, because there's not going to be enough money to pay them full time. So they have motivation. They have a reason, right? They have a very good reason to try to discredit me, to try to make it so that you don't listen to me about decertifying this union, which does not do a good job representing you. You can do a better job representing yourselves. You should certify yourselves as your own union. It's not that hard. It's very easy. It doesn't cost that much money. And all it is giving yourself the legal control over your collective agreement. That means you make the decisions. You get to decide what happens. That's not happening now. The documentation proves it. There are no meetings. You have no meetings. All the decisions are made by the president, the vice president, and the executive council, which is a total of those two of them and four more people, including Jeffrey Howe. These are the people who make all the decisions, who have full legal control over everything. You, the members, have no control over anything, but you pay all the money. That's what we're out here telling. Me and my friends from CPKC Rail, we're working together to contact all the members, all 600, and let you know and say, hey, it's your right. It's your right to give consent. It's your right to give the permission of people to represent you. They have to have that permission. Without that permission, they don't have a right to represent you. At Campar, 450 members signed union cards and paid $5 to give their permission to now you to be their legal representative. Nobody signed a union card with TC Local 1976 USW. Nobody at Campar has ever given their permission, ever given their consent to the USW to be their representative. They have 0 members who have ever given their consent. And the same is at CPKC Rail. 0 members have signed union cards with the USW, with TC Local 1976. Nobody has given their written permission to this union to be the legal representative. That's why I say to you, everybody, all 600 members need to sit down and decide, who do you want to give your permission to? Who do you want to give your consent to? And you sit down and you do it. You fill out a union card with your union of your choice. It doesn't matter if they win or not. What matters is that you make a decision for yourself. It's your right. There's nothing to be afraid of. You guys need to go out there and do that. And that's what this campaign is all about. This is a campaign of respect, respecting the members, respecting your right to make a choice, your right to give consent. Okay, so I'm about to call it a night. So I'm just here showing you guys the final scene. My earbuds don't reach, so even when I walked over to the sign, I was talking, but it's not registering. It's not recording, so you can't hear what I'm saying. But all I was saying simply is that it's your right of consent. It's your right to give permission to be in a union, to be for your union to be your legal representative. You have to give your consent. Your union is supposed to have your consent in writing. TC Local 1976 has never asked a single member of CPKC Rail for written permission. They have never asked a single member of Campar for written permission. That's what we know. So the union, this union claims they got the support. They don't have any support. Where's the documentation? They've never asked for support. At Campar, 450 members. That's 35% of the members of Campar signed a union card with Now You and paid $5 for Now You to be their representative. They gave written permission to Now You to be their bargaining agent. That's 35% of the members at Campar. And we would have got a lot more, but we couldn't reach the members. But 0 members, I repeat, 0 members of Campar have ever signed a union card with TC Local 1976 and paid them the $5. Yeah, good luck getting an extra $5 out of a member to sign a union card for TC Local 1976. But I invite the union to go out there and ask for the written support. Come up with the written documentation that proves that you have the support of the membership. Because right now, you have zero members support TC Local 1976. Nobody has signed a union card. Nobody has paid their $5. It does not matter. They will claim, oh, well, we don't need it. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't need it. You're supposed to ask for it. You're supposed to show the members respect. You're supposed to seek out the members' consent. Ask them for their permission, right? That's what we are doing. Me and my friends from CPKC Rail. That's what we're doing. We're doing a campaign of respect. We are doing a campaign where we seek out your permission to sign a union card for the union of your choice. I'm not recommending any union. I don't endorse any union. I say to you, you should be your own union. You should sign a union card certifying yourselves to be your own legal representative. That is the best choice in the world because it's not that hard. You sign a card, pay $5, the board certifies you, it's a done deal. You're your own union. And then guys go, oh, well, I don't know how to run a union. You don't need to. It's the easiest thing in the world. You pay an accountant. TC Local 1976 pays an accountant $50,000 to do all the financial calculations for them. All Manning has to do is sign the checks. That's all you have to do. And then every time they don't know what to do, they go to a lawyer. They use your money to pay for a lawyer to make the decisions. Well, if you certify yourselves your own union, you've got at least $750,000, maybe $1 million a year in union dues. I don't think you'll have any trouble going out and seeking legal advice on how to best run a union. The difference is you will have full and complete control over your collective agreement, the bargaining of that collective agreement, and the enforcement of it through grievances and through arbitration. You will never have to worry about wondering what's going on, being kept out of the talks. You will never have to have your grievance ever turned down. You will be able to take all your grievances to arbitration every time to fight to enforce your rights. That's what you can do in your own union. That's why we're out here telling you, sign a union card with yourself or sign a union card with the union of your choice. No problem. But sign a union card. Pay $5. Give your permission. Give your written consent. It's your right. You should do it because that's the one and only right you have. Everything else is controlled by the union that is certified to be your legal representative. And right now, it's Nancy Lapointe and Manny D'Souza. That's basically your union, your president and your vice president. And they make all of the decisions for you. And right now, on August the 29th, 2024, they sent out a direct link, an official correspondence of the USW and their local, making a completely, utterly false, ludicrous statement about me and trying to blame it on the 160 members who work at the Vaughan Yard. That's what your union did to you. So think about that representation. Think about the type of representation that you are currently getting from your current union. I suggest you look elsewhere.